Do you smell it?
I do.
More importantly, do you feel it?
I feel terrified right now because you're slapping things, but... Oh, that.
Do you feel it?
I do feel
Do
it.
you feel the energy coursing through your brain and your blood and your soul?
Is that why I'm hot?
No, that's because you eat too much junk food.
Oh! I need to get on that.
More like off that.
Ah, yeah.
No.
What are you getting
I'm
at,
talking
baby?
about the midweek wrap-up.
Oh, that's what that is. Because this is Thursday, so we're talking about the stuff that happened on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we should probably start that, right?
We're starting it right now.
What are we starting with?
Main event.
Oh, main event.
So the energy's a little weak.
Yeah.
But we got NXT and Lucha Underground next, so it's going to get a little better.
So we open up with 8... Like, the fact that and main event was weak is sad because we started with an 8-man tag team match. You'd think there'd be a lot going on. With the Primetime Players and the Usos taking...
I gotta call them the Primetime Usos.
Okay. Primetime Usos taking on the Cosmetic Wasteland of Stardust, The Ascension, and Tyler Breeze. It was a good match, but unfortunately this was, hey, let's let everybody else do the work and then give Titus all the credit.
Yeah.
Because everyone, like, even Darren Young is, like, going all over. There's people flipping and flying and jumps.
Of course, he's Mr. Mostly not having very many days.
As long as he's not injured, okay?
Yeah.
Hey. Boys got stuff to do. But the Primetime Players and the Usos end up picking up the win when, you guessed it, Titus O'Neil hits the Clash of the Titus on Tyler Breeze.
Was it on Breeze?
Might have been Stardust.
I thought it was.
I don't know. Because those are the only two people he's been hitting it on for the past 4 weeks. So it all kind of runs together. But it was one of those
More
two.
like the past 4 months.
Then we had a match between Jack Swagger and Fandango. This didn't last very long.
No. I always get excited when I see Fandango on TV, though.
Yeah, because he's not on very often.
Yeah.
Fandango, though,
He needs to wiggle his way into the social outcasts.
I think if one of them gets too out of hand, he'll be the next one to go in. Especially with the fact that he's possibly switching into Johnny Curtis, because he doesn't usually come out with a jacket, but he had like a vest, like a sleeves cut off jacket kind of thing that on the back says "Let's Get Weird." And if you remember Johnny Curtis, that was his thing.
Yeah.
Everything he did was weird. But yeah, he ended up losing fairly quickly to Jack Swagger due to the Patriot Lock. So yeah, maybe this is the fall of Fandango and the rise of Johnny Curtis, which I think would actually probably benefit him more than the Fandango character.
I think adding another member to the social outcasts would be fantastic.
Make it a 5-man group?
Yeah.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm okay with it. I just don't think WWE will do it.
No, not at all. I don't think there's a chance in hell WWE will make another 5-person group
Like
that isn't like
the Authority.
4 people and a manager or something, you know.
Yeah, the League of Nations is 4 people and a manager.
Yeah.
The closest thing we got was the Authority, when you had Seth, you had Kane, you had J&J, you had Triple H, you had Stephanie. So there was Randy Orton. There was a ton of people in that group, but no,
The corporation?
that was the new corporation.
The New Day.
No. Moving on. We had more fallout from Team Bad breaking up. We had JoJo interviewing Naomi and Tamina earlier in the show.
And they were spewing a bunch of hot garbage.
Yeah, Naomi, your story was bullshit. You obviously didn't watch Raw. Saying that,
Nor took part in it, apparently.
Yeah, like, Sasha wanted us out there, and then she turned her back on us, so we had to take action because where we come from, that's disrespectful, and no, that's a load of garbage. That's a load of garbage. She didn't say she needed you out there, but then you decided to try to attack Becky Lynch, and she said, hey, get off me, or get off this, I can do this by myself. And they're like, oh, you're out here, right? Yeah, sure. And then you would take, fuck, whatever. They ended up having a tag team match against Naomi. Not Naomi. That is wrong.
Natalia
and Paige.
Natalia and Wifey.
And Wifey. I was surprised that we had this match on main event. This actually seemed like something we should have had tomorrow on SmackDown. Maybe I'm just not used to storyline stuff actually being on main event. That was possibly it. Good match though. All the girls getting to work. I like the fact that we're starting to dwindle down the amount of divas that are teaming up together.
Yeah.
And the team of Natalia and Paige is just awesome. And they were close to getting the win. Natalia was about to lose, and Paige ended up breaking up the pinfall after the rear view. But as Natalia was trying to take advantage back and going for the sharpshooter, Tamina pulls Paige out of the ring, and Naomi's able to actually trip up Natalia and get her into her full Nelson leg submission that she does, and actually got Natalia to tap out.
It's almost, when I'm imagining it in my head, it's almost a variation on a Koji clutch.
Yeah, it's rather than.
It's just slightly different.
Yeah.
Well,
so
quite a bit different,
it's
that's
good.
the closest thing I can think of.
Yeah. No, we were trying to think of like what it would be while we were watching it, but yeah, it just didn't.
I'll tell you what it is. It's effective.
And it wins.
That's what it means by effective, but
Well, effective could just hurt somebody. That doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna win.
It's getting the job done.
Super effective. Pokemon reference. Moving on. Let's move on to NXT. We opened up with the Vaudevillains, who I thought were supposed to be more heel than they were in this particular match.
With the vignettes, I kind of expected them to debut with a new song.
Yeah, like when the guy came out and did the announcements and stuff, I was actually expecting him to when film melts and they do that that effect. I was almost expecting that, and then something darker for the Vaudevillains to come out, but it was the same thing. There was nothing different about it. They came out for a match with the Hype Bros, and Mojo actually wrestled, which
there's a little bit of that going on.
Surprised the shit out of us.
There's a little bit of that going on, but he still didn't endear us to him.
No, he didn't win us over or anything. It was just Mojo had a good moment.
He's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
if he wants to get over.
He's buried himself real deep. But the Vaudevillains,
and most of it is excrement.
Gross. Vaudevillains did end up picking up the win. Zack Ryder actually tagged himself in and was on a roll against Simon Gotch, but when he went for the broski boot, Aiden English actually pulled Gotch out of the way. Aiden got the tag in. They hit the Whirling Dervish on Zack Ryder, and the Vaudevillains pick up the win.
Yeah, if getting the Whirling Dervish isn't bad enough, getting the Whirling Dervish after getting crotched on the bottom rope.
Yeah, it was a bad moment for Zack Ryder.
I'm going to say I liked the match. The only thing that could have made it better is if they would have beaten Mojo Rawley instead of Zack Ryder.
It's true.
Why have the veteran of the team be the one jobbing out?
Because they got to protect Mojo. They got to make him look strong. I'm sorry, I had to say it. We had Tom Phillips interviewing Carmella because next week will be her women's title match. Apparently, they're going on the road for next week's taping. Going to be from the CFE arena, so we'll possibly be getting a much bigger NXT crowd. But it was just more so just putting over the fact that Emma thinks she doesn't deserve the title spot, and she's going to show her different in their match tonight. And it doesn't matter that her and Bayley are friends. This title match isn't going to change it, but she does plan walking out women's champion. Then we had Dash and Dawson talking about Enzo and Cass, saying that they think they deserve another shot, but they don't really do. But since Dash and Dawson believe that they're on their way to being the greatest NXT Tag Team Champions of all time, they'll throw them a bone and give them a tag title shot.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
What, Enzo and Cass get another shot?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because all they're doing every week is just talking.
That was personal from Dash and Dawson picking up a cheap win in London.
They need to win another match.
Well,
beat somebody worthwhile.
Oh, okay.
Then get your way back into the
I
championship.
was gonna say, because they're about to win a match. We haven't got there yet, though. Carmella did defeat Emma in a very lackluster match. Not even Emma could keep it together, really.
Couldn't keep it tight.
Nope, didn't keep it tight. Carmella winning with a backslide.
Yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, I think I wouldn't have anything to say negatively about a match won with a backslide.
Because it's a shocker. It's a cool.
It's very uncommon.
Yeah. So when it happens, it's like, oh, okay, a pin variation that we don't see very often won.
Unfortunately, I don't think, however, you show Carmella gaining any momentum towards the championship match she's in.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make her seem any more of a credible threat if she wins her match via a roll-up.
By luck, pretty much.
Yeah.
The fact that she squeaked out a win against Emma puts a lot of lack of faith in her ability to wrestle against Bayley next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't impressive at all. Like, I have no problems with Carmella. I think what she's done has been fine, but I've never viewed her as championship material. I was happy when she won the Battle Royal, mostly because I didn't want Eva Marie to win, but I was excited to see Carmella actually get a chance and maybe prove me wrong. Hopefully she can do that against Bayley next week, because if she makes Bayley look bad, it's kind of all downhill for Carmella at that point. I think she's going to be strictly managerial at that point. And then we went on to Enzo and Cass having their squash match against Jamoka's 1 and 2, as coined by Corey Graves. Jamoka 2 got thrown out to the floor over the top rope by Cass, landing really fucking hard.
You know what I like about the way this arena is set up there? Is there's not a lot of space between the ring and the ramp. So when somebody flies over the top rope, they always hit the ramp.
You get that extra sound.
Yeah, he flew over the top rope and his feet came down on the ramp.
Mm-hmm.
So you had that like extra crashy sound.
Yeah.
That, I mean, granted, I think if there would have been enough space for his feet to hit the ground, and it would have just been like a nice splat sound on the outside, I think it would have
been just as
satisfying to watch this guy who didn't even get tagged in.
No, he came in to try and help his tag team partner, and he got fucked up. And then Jamoka 1 got hit with a sit-out gunslinger, and then was pinned after Air Enzo. So, yeah. We probably won't be seeing those guys around for too much longer.
At least Jamoka 2.
Yeah, Jamoka 2 is going to be out for an extra amount of time.
Not going to be doing so hot, I don't think.
We had Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe give their thoughts on how the triple threat match ended last week. Sami Zayn saying that, you know what, Joe has a good argument as to why, he should be the winner, but I think I had the sharpshooter in a lot longer, so we'll just have to wait and see what William Regal thinks.
Yeah, it's an argument basis on, okay, Sami Zayn had the submission on first, but Baron Corbin didn't tap out until Joe put on the crossface.
Exactly.
So it's, do you count the longer submission, or do you count the one that actually seemed like it was the resulted in Baron Corbin tapping out? Right.
And then Joe didn't actually give anything as far as an opinion. He just kind of scared off the cameraman and then walked away. We had Apollo Crews talking about his match against Finn Balor later on. His main objective is wanting to prove that he can beat Finn Balor, because he didn't get a chance to the last time they faced off against each other.
Yeah.
We had William Regal make his decision about the triple threat match. Baron Corbin actually storming into his office while he was talking.
And Regal's like, bitch, sit down. You didn't win.
Yeah.
You don't even deserve to be in this promo.
Yeah.
Go away.
Corbin comes in and says, you better be making a rematch. And he goes, oh, I am. But it was very obvious that you weren't going to win, so you are not involved. So Baron Corbin storms off, and so we now know that, is it going to be next week? Or are we...
I don't know. I don't even know if he said when it was.
Oh. Well, whenever it will be, we will get a one-on-one match between Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn, and that winner will go on to face Finn Balor for the NXT Championship.
Good old match between Sami Joe and Samoa Zayn.
Right. We had Asuka taking on a debuting Santana Garrett,
Yeah.
who got way more offense than most people do on Asuka, especially in a debut match.
Yeah, Santana Garrett knows how to bring it.
Yeah, no, she showed...
That's a reason why I got so excited when I found out that she's going to be appearing on NXT.
Yeah. No, and she slapped the shit out of Asuka. She had Asuka in a octopus variation stretch. Just some great stuff between these two. Unfortunately, she got caught with that flying armbar, and she was lucky enough to get out of that, but put herself in prime position for Asuka to lock in the Asuka lock, and she was forced to tap out.
Asuka lock the Asuka lock.
Yeah. Then we go into our main event, which is Finn Balor versus Apollo Crews. A much different tempo than their first match.
Yeah, I think it was a different tempo than you get out of a lot of NXT stuff.
Yeah.
It was very wrestling oriented, very almost Finn Balor forcing Apollo Crews to work.
Yeah.
Not in a way that I say that. I say that a lot as in like, okay, somebody who's not used to wrestling high impact matches or wrestling long matches.
Right.
Like saying like, okay, Baron Corbin, when they did the championship tournament, like Baron Corbin's first, like I think it was his first loss, and he got eliminated in that tournament by Neville.
Oh, right.
Way back when.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, Neville made Baron Corbin work, because it was the first time Baron Corbin wrestled a match that was more than like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
So,
but we know that Apollo Crews can work.
Yeah, but this was more of the storytelling version of making somebody work of, you know, Finn Balor was always trying to keep Apollo Crews on the ground with his weight on top of him.
Yeah.
He was so Apollo Crews had to really force his way out to make any sort of headway in the match.
Yeah. The first 2 minutes was mostly Finn Balor with Apollo Crews in a headlock.
Yeah.
Just doing everything he
Headlock
can.
City bitch.
And, Apollo Crews, like, getting frustrated at some points because he couldn't counter it. And we came back from commercial and he was able to kind of start getting his bearings, and then we got more of the flashy. There was a lot of good counters too. When Apollo went over the Finn went over the ropes, and they were like fighting from like apron to inside of the ring, and Apollo ended up catching the clothesline on Finn, and then actually Finn was able to, I think, dodge a dive and then dove onto Apollo Crews on the outside. Just some
I
great...
don't know, like it was a big old beanbag chair.
Yeah, no, that was the most perfect dive landing I've ever seen. Like there wasn't any better way that Apollo could have caught him. It was fantastic. And yeah, it was just a great back and forth match, which after a second attempt at a sling blade, Finn Balor was able to go up, hit the coup de grace, but he didn't stop there. He picked Apollo Crews back up and hit him with his brainbuster, the Bloody Sunday, to put Apollo Crews away. Had a respectful handshake at the end. I think I would love to see these guys go against each other one more time. Now, I think with the fact that their first one didn't get to go to completion, maybe it would have been a different situation. So I think we might get Apollo Crews wanting another match. Like,
I could see
almost not necessarily out of desperation, but more so just to prove to himself, maybe. So, I don't know. I'd like to see it because this one was fantastic.
I watched these matches. It wasn't your 100% typical NXT fare as far as a main event goes. But it showed a bit of diversity when you have a match like this, which isn't what every single NXT match is built like.
Right.
It shows, Finn and Apollo Crews with diversity.
Yeah. No,
and it makes me feel so much like I want to see Raw replaced with NXT. I feel like, and it's going to happen eventually, that all these guys are going to be on main roster people. Yeah. But what I want now is I feel like, okay, we had Jack Swagger versus Fandango on main event. They only had a few minutes, but you see the same type of match between two people on NXT where you only have 4 minutes, and it seems like so much more.
Yes.
Because they're putting everything they have into those 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and I feel like, okay, at this point, get rid of the Ascension, get rid of Swagger, get rid of Titus O'Neil, get rid of The Miz. There are some people who just don't capture anything. The way I feel is like they don't capture that much. And bring in these guys who really seem to want to just go balls to the wall to get the opportunity to be on the main roster.
And another thing about it is I don't even know if it's the want to be on the main roster. I feel like the crowd has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
The intimate crowd in NXT has such a much bigger energy than the Raw or SmackDown crowd. We have had the chance to be a part of both types of crowds. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I'd like to say that it was, the excitement that this is NXT outside of Full Sail, but it was just still NXT. And I felt so much more I felt so much more of a wrestling fan feel from the NXT crowd than I do anytime we go to Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah. No, you're separating things. And I think it could be the buzzkill if, per se, my idea of, a bunch of the guys on the main roster get cut and you bring up almost the entire NXT roster to be the new roster of WWE, is you're looking at two different fans.
Yeah.
You're looking at professional wrestling fans and you're looking at sports entertainment fans.
Right.
You're looking at El Generico fans versus John Cena fans. Mm-hmm. Colt Cabana fans versus Triple H fans.
Yeah.
It's a dynamic that changes just so greatly. And it's why I think guys like Neville and Cesaro and the Ascension haven't really had that big boost of momentum like they had when they were all on NXT.
Yeah, it's things fall flat on the main roster, and we're hoping that changes. And especially at this point in time when so much of their heavy hitters are gone, this is when you need to start pushing those small guys that you don't think can get over. All right, so we'll move on to Lucha Underground, make things a little extra flippy here. We open up with Killshot taking on Johnny Mundo.
This match was like a karate movie meets WCW.
It was who could outstunt the other person.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic show of athleticism on both guys. Both of them doing awesome dives. Killshot with his over the top rope moonsault to the outside. Johnny Mundo, we know what Johnny Mundo is capable of. But Killshot really stole this match.
Yeah.
Like, he had some great breakout moments. We didn't get anything like this from him last season. The spot that I wrote down, which was awesome, was he double drop kicked Johnny's legs out from under him while he was standing on the second rope.
Yeah.
And then used...
He basically almost forces Johnny Mundo into a the typical, almost the Shattered Dreams type position.
Yeah, and he was leaned a bit forward. He took advantage of that and hit a super kick, and then grabbed him and hit a second rope DDT. Got a near fall out of that. But Johnny Mundo ended up picking up the win when the referee accidentally got knocked down. I think Killshot actually shoulder checked the referee on. I think Johnny actually shoved him into the ref. And while Killshot's back was to Johnny balls.
Yeah, Johnny elevated him up almost like a pop-up powerbomb, Kevin Owens style.
Just facing the other way.
And when he came down on the other side, he brought his foot back up, so he landed crotched. There's your diagram. It's not just a finger man with a giant penis. It's the diagram.
For those of you listening to the podcast, you need to check out YouTube right now. And so with the with the nut shot, Johnny was able to hit. God damn it! He was able to hit his springboard. What does he call that? It's not the disaster kick. It was
the flash kick, or the razor kick, or something like that.
I think it was flash kick. I don't know.
I think it was the flash kick.
Post in the comments if you know what it was called. But he ends up using that to set up for End of the World, and he picks up the win. And then he starts talking trash and starts saying that he wants to go after the Lucha Underground Championship.
Yeah.
Pointing the finger at Mil Muertes, who's up there
he
on his
said,
throne watching.
The earthquake that shook you up as a child will be nothing compared to the end of the world.
Yeah. But we had someone else who wanted to throw their name in the hat and talk some shit to Johnny Mundo. That being
shit.
The fucking machine, Cage. He didn't give any fucks.
No, and Cage got to the ring and got right in Mundo's face.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? You want to go? Let's go. And then Mundo's like, sorry, I don't really want to go.
And then when Cage's back was turned, then Mundo wanted to go.
Yeah, and then he hit him and then he went.
Yeah. Smart move, Johnny. Smart move.
Yeah, everybody at this point.
I love the fact that we're just getting everyone. No one gives a fuck about how dominant Mil Muertes was last season. I think especially with last week, we saw that Pentagon took him out because he's wearing a sling this week. The fact that Pentagon fired that first shot, everyone kind of sees, Mil Muertes isn't as big and bad as we thought he was.
I think it's more getting the mentality at the end of season 1 they were pumping him up as this big, dominant heel character.
Yeah, the Undertaker type character.
That couldn't be hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's he's the champion.
And now everyone's gunning for him.
Yeah, it's we don't care if you're invincible or not. All we have to do is pin your shoulders to the mat for 3 seconds.
Yeah. And I love the fact that just the entire roster is just throwing shit at him. It's great. Up next we had the debut of the Darewolf PJ Black taking on the Mac.
Darewolf Pajama Black.
This was good. I think you put it best. I know you weren't the biggest fan of Justin Gabriel.
No, man's got a great 450 splash, but that's all he's really got going for him in my eyes.
Yeah, and it was a lot more of that. He didn't have. It wasn't a bad match by any means.
No, I don't want to take away from the fact that he's definitely a capable wrestler.
And very much in the same way Killshot stole the first match, I think the Mac really shone in this match.
Yeah.
Because he got to put on a lot more of his athleticism than he did last season.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a lot of sort of in the way of what WWE should be doing.
It's just letting people do
what they do. You think about season 1 had Del Rio was on season 1.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have Del Rio. We haven't seen Chavo Guerrero yet. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen Tejano yet. We haven't seen Daivari back. We know Big Rick is gone.
Yes.
So we're taking all the people who used to be in WWE
mm-hmm.
or who work for AAA, like Tejano, all these top draw build names built outside of the company, not really showing up yet.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, let's let guys like the Mac go out there and have a chance to become the new guy.
Yeah, and it's refreshing because, I think, especially with the fact that Lucha Underground was so new with season 1, like the whole concept was just so new that I think they were trying to play it safe.
Yeah.
And then as the popularity came out, then with each taping they upped themselves a little bit, and this season they know they have the strong fan base. They know they have the talent, so they're just kind of letting it go, and it's full force this season, which is fantastic, and it just makes it more exciting. But the Mac would end up defeating PJ Black as PJ Black went for a springboard. You would catch him with a cutter out of the air and get the pinfall that way. So a great match for the Mac.
I guess my other thing about not being that excited about seeing PJ Black on Lucha Underground is it's like, well, we know we have Angelico and Jack Evans, and it's basically adding a third one of them to the group.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, though.
It's not a bad thing, but to me, it's not a good thing either. You
don't think there's nothing that makes him special.
Yeah, it's you're putting you're putting a guy into a group of guys who's just like him.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you need if he had like a different gimmick. If he had something going on that wasn't just he's PJ Black, he's a guy who we're just basically using him as himself because he's been on TV elsewhere.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing though, is that he's been trying to shed the Justin Gabriel name because that's just, that wasn't a name that he was ever really fond of. That's something that he doesn't want to be associated with. He wants to make a name for himself. And I think Lucha Underground is going to be the best way for him to do that. He's got, he's used to the TV, the TV aspect. So that'll help him as far as, knowing that he's playing to more than just the crowd that's there. Mm-hmm. And I think especially with what we were just talking about, how this season seems like it's just go out and do what you can, go out and do what you do. I think it's going to open a lot more doors for PJ Black as opposed to the strict confines of either an indie show or WWE. That's my opinion. Speaking of debuts, next week we're getting a new luchadora named Cobra Moon, who is being played by indie star Thunder Rosa. I'm excited just for the aspect that we're getting another wrestling lady. This is going to be awesome. We haven't seen Sexy Star show up. We saw Eva Lise have a great moment last week.
Still in Marty the Moth's broom closet.
Yeah. Well, wasn't she running away at the end of the the vignette?
No, she's tied up.
You sure?
I'm fairly certain she's still tied up.
I'm pretty sure she was running away, but I think she's gonna run. She's gonna end up running to the temple, being chased by Marty and his sister. It's gonna look real weird. All right, but then we had our main event, which is a 2-on-3 handicap tag team match where we have the Disciples of Death taking on the team of what was their
Prince Pumagon?
Pumagon.
Prince Pumagon or Pentaguma Jr.
Pentagon Jr. and Prince Puma, due to all of the issues that happened at the end of last week's episode.
Yeah, well, basically it's because Pentagon and Puma gave a big collective fuck off to Mil Muertes.
Yeah, and so Katrina's like, guess what? Guess what we're gonna do?
Katrina's like, don't mess with my fuckboy. Yeah.
Oh man, this was a good match too. A lot of dissension between Pentagon and Puma. They don't trust each other.
I wouldn't trust Pentagon Jr.
Neither would I. Pentagon, wanting a lot of the fanfare for himself, especially with him being the one that did, fire the first shot at Mil Muertes.
Despite the fact that he is, all in all, I would say one of the big heels of Lucha Underground.
He's one of the more popular.
He's one of the most popular people.
If
not the most popular person.
No.
I don't know very many people in Lucha Underground who garner the same fan reaction.
No,
as Pentagon Jr.
He's one of the only ones that really has like a.
He's got a catchphrase.
Yeah, he's got and the crowd chants it all the time.
Yeah.
So the Cero Miedo, it has. I mean, that right there sold people because people like to be able to chant.
Say things.
Yeah, that's part of being a wrestling fan.
And that rhymed, so even better.
Yeah.
Only thing that could have made it better is if both words started with the same letter. That's alliteration. If you would have had alliteration and rhyming, and chantability.
Well, it's chantability and it's in a different language, so you don't need the alliteration. You get to speak a different language when you say it.
Yeah.
Unless you're Mexican, then or Spanish of any type, then you're just speaking your usual language. But it's fun to be able to say something cool in a different language, like Zero Fear. This was.
It's good that they can make it rhyme.
Yeah.
Zero Fear doesn't sound as catchy.
It'd just be Zero Fear, Zero Fear, Zero, and
It doesn't rhyme. It's not that catchy.
No. Cero Miedo, bro. Good match towards the end. We had Katrina constantly wanting to get involved and try and give the edge to, even though there was 3 of them.
Yeah.
They couldn't really keep Pentagon or Puma down.
Pentagon, man, he chops so damn hard.
I want to see him versus Marshe Rocket.
Ooh, ouch.
Like just a chop off. They'd both leave with some welts. But Puma ends up getting the advantage, hits the 630 on, I believe, Barrio Negro. But when he was going for the move, he got blind tagged by Pentagon Jr., so Pentagon Jr., wanting all the fanfare for himself, ends up picking up the win by just pitting him after Puma hits his move.
Teamwork from Pentaguma Jr.
And they get in each other's face towards the end. Puma starts to walk away, and then Pentagon attacks Puma and tries to...
Backcracker!
Yeah, backcracker! And then tries to do the arm breaker, but Puma is able to wiggle out and run away. Pentagon being a little bitch and attacking him from behind, so I'm sure we'll be seeing that match happen here fairly soon.
Next week or the week after.
They're going to be the first... They're not the first. They're going to be the next number 1 contender match.
Probably.
It's going to be the 2 of them. But before we close out Lucha Underground, we see... or we hear a voice, which is very recognizable if you've been watching wrestling for the past 20 years, talking to the man who picked up the mask of El Dragon Azteca last season. He's wearing a hoodie. He ends up pulling it back. This is now El Dragon Azteca Jr., and he's being mentored by Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio saying that originally he was supposed to be Dragon Azteca Jr., but he prefers the mask that he's chosen. So I think that this is a great way to bring in this new Lucha character, because I'm pretty sure I've actually heard Rey talk about how he was supposed to be Dragon Azteca Jr. at one point in his early career. So it's a cool heritage story. It's a cool way to bring in a new Lucha character. We can only hope that whoever's under the mask doesn't fuck it up.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only thing we can really hope for. A good second episode of Lucha Underground. Not a lot of backstage stuff. Not a lot of vignettes. If there were, we had an interesting way of watching it. So if
we missed anything, just post it in the comments.
Yeah, post it in the comments.
I'm pretty sure we didn't, but
just to be on the safe side, if we did, go ahead and post down there. But there's other stuff you can do down there, like
liking and commenting and subscribing.
Yes. And also, click all of them links down in the description.
There's a bunch of them.
Because you can be connected to our Facebook, where we post all kinds of stuff. You can go to our Twitters, where you get updates when videos go up. You'll get retweets from other wrestlers. You'll get live tweeting during pay-per-views. You can go to the Instagram, where you get weekly pictures. Like yesterday's Woman Crush Wednesday was Mighty Molly.
Hey-o.
Good choice, Tom's Wolf. And there's plenty more down there for those of you watching on YouTube. Check out the podcast link. We had close to 70 listens on our podcast last week. For some reason, SmackDown was super popular last week. Y'all did like 600 views on that video, so thank you very much for that.
Slap me twice and call me grandma.
Well, I'll do that later. And for those of you listening to the podcast, check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the page. Check out the pictures that we put up. Check out this set that we've got going on. Also, specifically, subscribe to the YouTube page because we have specific videos that don't usually go up as podcasts.
Yeah, Thomas Top 5s.
Last week's Royal Rumble review, just because it was as long as it was, and we've got limited space on our podcast. So if you want those extra videos, you got to go to the YouTube page, subscribe. It's down in the description. And last but not least, you got to check out that playlist, because above this video is the Raw review. And if you want to, you can rewatch this midweek wrap-up. Coming up next, we have the SmackDown Rundown, and we'll be having some indie news where we'll have results from National Pro Wrestling Day.
Huh?
You heard me, National Pro Wrestling Day.
Oh, shit.
That one.
You know, if I ever get a chance to go to a Lucha Underground taping,
yeah,
I need to bring like a Spanish to English translating dictionary so I can chant along with the people.
What would you want to chant?
Something along the lines of "fuck Alex Riley."
Oh. We'll see you guys later. Oh, fuck Titus O'Neil.
Yep.